R.M.Aviation. Before I get started on today's topic, I'm just going to put out an announcement, and if you guys check out the posts on this channel in the community section, you will see we are hosting an art competition. So the main objective of this challenge is to gain audience interaction, and also there will be prizes up for grabs which will include merchandise. The main things you have to follow if you want to join and apply is essentially just put it into the comment section of that post. And the only real requirements are that it must have R.M. Airways, which isn't a real airline, it's a conceptive airline. Design it how you like it, make it your own. Please put a watermark on it, and it's just what you would imagine it looking like. And we're doing a video at the end to describe what all the different things were, and we're going to put it to a vote through the actual people, all the viewers of this channel. So anyway, back to the point. So today we're doing an Air Canada Flight 797, which was the tragic event that occurred on the 2nd of June 1983 involving a McDonnell Douglas DC-9-32 aircraft. The flight was a scheduled service from Dallas-Fort Worth International in Texas to Montreal-Dorval International Airport, YUL in Quebec, experienced in a catastrophic in-flight fire resulting in the deaths of 23 of the 46 people on board. Flight details: the aircraft was a McDonnell Douglas DC-9-32, registered CGAUN. Route was Dallas-Fort Worth DFW to Montreal. The accident date was the 2nd of June 1983. The passengers and crew: there were 39 passengers, 7 crew members, and the fatalities were 23 fatalities, 20 passengers, and 3 crew. The departure and initial flight. So the flight was Flight 797, departing from Dallas-Fort Worth International at around 7 p.m. local time. The flight was a routine service and everything seemed normal in the early stages of the flight. As the plane ascended towards its cruising altitude, smoke detected. Approximately 1 hour into the flight, the crew began to notice the unusual smell of smoke in the cabin. At 8:10 p.m., the pilots and flight attendants confirmed that smoke was becoming visible inside the cabin. The flight crew did not initially know the source of the smoke, but they decided to declare an emergency and began diverting to Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport, or CVG, the nearest suitable airport, about 150 miles. The cabin fire intensified. By the time the plane had started its emergency descent, the smoke worsened and became clear that the fire was present somewhere inside the aircraft. The fire spread rapidly, making it harder for the crew and passengers to breathe, and visibility inside the cabin was severely reduced. The passengers were instructed to brace for an emergency landing, and several of them attempted to fight the smoke and escape growing panic inside the cabin. The descent and emergency landing attempt. Despite the worsening conditions, the pilot continued their emergency descent towards Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport. At around 8:44 p.m., the crew made an attempt to land, but it was clear that the fire was out of control now. At this point, the pilots initiated a go-around procedure where the plane ascends back into the air to make another attempt at landing, at hopes of reaching a safer landing area. However, by the time they tried to land again, the fire had reached a critical stage. The crash and impact. After attempting to circle and land, the fire overcame the aircraft and the DC-9 crashed into a field about 3 miles from the airport. After the fire completely disabled the plane's systems, the flames and smoke were too intense for passengers and crew to overcome. The crash caused multiple fatalities as the aircraft was engulfed in flames. The investigation's findings. The National Transport Safety Board, or NTSB, launched an investigation into the cause of the fire and subsequent crash. The investigation revealed several important factors. The first thing it noticed or revealed was the origin of the fire. The fire began at the rear lavatory of the aircraft. It was determined that the fire originated from a small electrical fault in the toilet waste compressor, which caused a small but significant fire to start in the lavatory area. The waste compactor contained material that could easily catch fire. This fire spread undetected for a critical period. Smoke detector and fire progression. The smoke and fire spread quickly because of the failure in the design of the aircraft. The DC-9 was not equipped with adequate smoke detection systems in the lavatories, which allowed the fire to grow unchecked until it became a serious hazard. Additionally, the plane did not have an automatic fire suppression system in the rear lavatories. Delays in identifying the source. Although the flight crew quickly realized there was a fire on board, they could not identify the exact location of the fire due to intense smoke and lack of proper systems to detect it. The crew initially struggled to find the source, which delayed the response time in addressing the fire. Failure and fire suppression systems. The fire suppression systems on the DC-9 were inadequate for the scale of the fire. The aircraft systems, which could have potentially contained the fire, were insufficient in stopping and controlling the blaze at the rear of the part of the plane. Escape efforts. After the fire intensified, many passengers tried to escape through the emergency exits, but rapidly worsened conditions made it nearly impossible for everyone to evacuate safely. The panic and smoke and the spreading of the fire made it difficult for many. Fatalities. 23 people on board died, including 20 passengers and 3 crew members. The primary cause of death was smoke inhalation and severe injuries caused by the fire. Only 6 passengers and 3 crew members survived. Recommendations and changes. Following the investigation, the NTSB made several recommendations to improve safety in the aircraft cabins, including better fire detection and suppression systems. New regulations were implemented requiring better fire detection and suppression systems in lavatories and other areas of the aircraft. Improved emergency protocol for fire detection. Airlines and crews were encouraged to improve their procedures for identifying the source of fires more quickly to prevent similar accidents. Updated designs and standards. The airlines and manufacturers were required to redesign lavatories and crucial aircraft systems to minimize the risk of fire and to allow for a better evacuation. The legacy and the impact. The crash of the Air Canada Flight 797 brought to the attention the dangers of in-flight fires, particularly in cabin areas that were less equipped with fire detection and suppression systems. It served as a catalyst for the changes in aviation regulation, particularly in regards to the design of the cabin and fire prevention systems, the crew training and handling in emergency situations, and this incident remains a tragic reminder of how quickly a small fire can escalate to a life-threatening situation, and it led to improvements in the aviation safety that helped prevent similar disasters from happening. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll try and release another video tomorrow night. Thank you. Subscribe if you'd like more content just like this. Thank you for tuning in yet again.